Welcome to Teaming Solutions Beyond the APMP Body of Knowledge. I'm Beth Wingate, President of Lofeld Consulting Group and APMP Fellow, former CEO of APMP International, and former President of the APMP National Capital Area Chapter. I've been with Lofeld Consulting Group for over 15 years. I've managed proposals for small, mid-size, and large government contractors for over 35 years, including training teams in proposal best practices, writing sections of the APMP Body of Knowledge, or BOK, and co-writing 6 books on capture and proposal best practices. I'm co-presenting this webinar with my good friend and colleague, Brenda Christ, a Vice President at Lofeld Consulting Group. Welcome, Brenda.
Hi, Beth. Thank you very much. I've been at Lofeld Consulting for almost 15 years. I have been a capture manager, proposal writer, and general utility player on many bids. I'm also an APMP Fellow. I am certified at the professional level and have been an instructor for APMP certification for over 10 years now. Back to you, Beth.
Thanks, Brenda. In this presentation, we share a new paradigm for teaming. The paradigm discussed in the APMP Body of Knowledge focuses on teaming strategy, but that's akin to the honeymoon phase of a marriage. This presentation considers teaming relationships during the entire bid life cycle. We assert that your teaming partners can end up being friends, frenemies, or enemies, and how you manage the teaming relationship decides its fate. Did you know that contract managers and contracting officers spend up to 20% of their time mitigating disputes between teaming partners? In an informal poll we ran on LinkedIn last month, 40% of respondents classified their teaming partners as frenemies on their last bid. You can foster friends, frenemies, or enemies by the way you initiate and maintain relationships with your teaming partners. This presentation focuses on teaming strategies and solutions that help you select and maintain friends, promote mutually beneficial teaming relationships, and deliver exceptional results to your customers. We use the terms friends, frenemies, and enemies quite frequently in this discussion, so let's define them. Teaming partners who are friends bring multiple benefits to the table. Information and insight about the customer and competitors, capabilities to fill solution gaps, exceptional past performance that increases customer confidence, highly qualified personnel to fill key roles, proposal development resources to expedite proposal preparation and defray costs, long-standing partnerships that boost the customer's confidence rating. Let me give you an example of a friend. I found a subcontractor who was recommended to me by a customer. We formed a partnership to pursue a new task order and won it. The contractor complied with all contract terms and conditions and respected our relationship with the customer as the prime contractor. When work surges occurred, the subcontractor volunteered their staff members who were working on adjacent projects to support the customer. Their performance was exceptional, and they routinely provided recommendations for improvements and innovations. Teaming partners who are frenemies are both friends and rivals, as long as the teaming relationship is beneficial to them. They're friends as long as they can't win alone or defeat a shared competitor. They're likely to game the proposal effort to increase their work share, garner the most important work, or increase their face time with the customer. In the long run, they have little respect for your relationship with the customer and would like to swap your prime and subcontractor relationship. Common frenemy behaviors include unrealistic claims to gain a spot on the team, poor quality inputs, including solution development, past performance, or resume information that can possibly degrade your chances of winning, information or deliverables that are received too late to be of use or derail your proposal schedule. Let me give you an example of a frenemy. They overstated their past performance and rarely submitted their proposal artifacts on schedule. After we won the contract, they jockeyed to improve their customer face time and tried constantly to increase their work share. Enemies can cause pre- and post-award trauma, including in an attempt to earn a spot on the team, They don't disclose adverse information about themselves that may jeopardize the bid, such as customer conflicts, security violations, lawsuits, or organizational conflicts of interest, or OCIs. Post-award, they don't respect your prime contractor relationship with the contracts manager, contracting officer, or contracting officer's representative, a core. They make direct complaints about your company to the customer. Their conduct is unprofessional or unbusinesslike and can get you in trouble with the contracts manager, contracting officer, core, or stakeholders. They even sabotage your company's relationship with the customer to position themselves for a contract takeover. Worst of all, they create frivolous lawsuits against your company, which can cost millions. We knew a company whose subcontractor was determined to destroy them. They constantly complained to the customer, stakeholders, and contracting officer about the prime contractor on trumped-up charges. During the contract, they acquired proprietary information and used it to form a relationship with another company to bid against the prime on the recompete. They brought a frivolous lawsuit against the prime and made their partner's life agony. So let's dive into what customers want from teaming partners and review some teaming definitions. Next, we'll discuss what the APMP BOK and current literature say about teaming. And finally, we'll examine an innovative teaming model. Customers want teaming partners who meet or exceed all contract requirements on schedule, produce high-quality work on or ahead of schedule and on or under budget, demonstrate flexibility and transparency in responding to their requests, and proactively inform them of risks and changes. Proactively minimize performance risk and provide the customer with multiple solutions that they can evaluate to determine the best course of action. Always comply with regulations, policies, and standards, and provide confirmation of compliance. Customers want teaming partners who don't bother them. This is probably rule number one. Do your job. Don't bother them unless it's really necessary. Let's define the two major types of teams. First, a vertical team is a traditional prime and subcontractor relationship. The prime flows down the contract's terms and conditions to the subcontractor, and the subcontractor agrees to abide by those conditions. A mentor-protege agreement is another example of a vertical team. Second, a horizontal team consists of two or more companies that form a legal entity to bid on a contract. This entity is often called a joint venture, JV, or consortium. The JV or consortium partners define the terms and conditions of their relationship and who leads the JV or consortium. Before we go further, let's review some other basic terms. A non-disclosure, or NDA, is an agreement by which two or more parties agree not to disclose confidential information that they shared with each other as a part of doing business with each other. A teaming agreement, or TA, is an agreement by two or more companies to join together to compete on a bid. A statement of work, or SOW, describes the specific duties and deliverables all team members perform to conduct the work. A joint venture, or JV, is an agreement between two or more companies to form a distinct legal entity to bid on work. In a mentor-protege relationship, a large business agrees to mentor a small business, and the mentor often provides assistance, training, and best practices for bidding on work. A subcontract management plan is used by companies to establish the standards for qualifying, evaluating, selecting, and managing subcontractors. So what does the APMP BOK say about teaming? Pages 46 to 50 of the BOK state that for a given bid, we should determine objectively if teaming is needed to strengthen our competitive position on a bid. Identify, evaluate, select, and recruit teaming partners based on their ability to help us increase our win probability. Select the most appropriate teaming structure, such as prime subcontractor, JV, partner arrangement, mentor-protege, etc. Negotiate and document effective teaming agreements and subcontracts with a clear scope of work, activities, work share, and clauses. and optimize and strengthen the competitiveness of the team for the bid work that has defined governance, legal, and financial commitments. Here's a high-level review of what the current literature outside the APMP BOK says about teaming. The Shipley Capture and Proposal Guides summarize best practices for teaming strategy. The guides urge you to use a bidder comparison chart to compare potential partners, negotiate with potential partners based on a shared vision of the work, and seal the deal with a written teaming agreement, statement of work, and work breakdown structure, or WBS. FAR Subpart 9.6, Contractor Team Arrangements, defines teaming relationships, describes them, and defines the limitations they set on teaming. It also notes that the government looks for teaming arrangements that provide them with the best combination of performance, cost, and delivery for the system or product being acquired. The PMI PBOK provides a framework for planning acquisition, contract, and purchasing arrangements, selecting and executing these relationships, and administering and controlling the results. There are also many comprehensive books written by APMP members on this topic, including APMP's Writing Business Bids and Proposals for Dummies. However, most of them focus on teaming strategy or contract execution with partners and didn't address bid lifecycle activities with teaming partners. So based on our collective experience and research, we're proposing a more inclusive teaming framework that goes beyond the APMP BOK and considers how we manage the teaming lifecycle across the bid from start to finish. Will we team or not? What's our strategy for teaming and customizing the teaming agreement for each opportunity? How are we going to manage our teaming activities during the capture phase? What activities do we need to conduct during the proposal phase? How do we address risks and continually improve our teaming strategies and activities? Brenda's now going to review this reimagined teaming framework in more detail. Over to you, Brenda.
Thank you very much, Beth. First, let's talk about whether to team or not to team. Team or no team? As Shakespeare said, to team or not to team, and that is the question. There are very good reasons to partner, such as finding a partner who can help you fill your solution, personnel, or performance gaps. Likewise, there's a lot of good reasons not to partner, such as you can do the work yourself, or you just haven't had time to do your due diligence. We all want to get to the point where we have the dream team. We complement each other's capabilities. We meet and consistently exceed all customer requirements. We offer the customer the very best combination of value, price, performance while mitigating their risk. We also meet their socioeconomic goals and have incredible reach-back opportunities for them. Let's talk about teaming strategy. Wouldn't it be great if you were at a point where you could attract teaming partners? They came to you because you had excellent customer relationships or were esteemed for your solution, innovation, and expertise. Unfortunately, many of us have to recruit teaming partners. The first place I go is to ask the customer. Second, if they have no response, I hit up free teaming or paid directories. A great one I just found out about is Orange Slice's AI, which actually has comments on potential teaming partners. I also access lists of professional organizations and small business organizations. The more time you spend up front screening your teaming partners, the better the outcome. On the left, I've listed several indicators here that you can use to screen your teaming partners, such as, do they have good customer references? They have a great performance work history. They have excellent financial ratings and no history of suspensions or cancellations. Once you've identified a teaming partner, the next step is to enter into negotiations. First, make sure you sign that non-disclosure agreement so you can talk freely. Then be clear, be crystal clear. Let them know about the terms and conditions, the work share, the payment rates and terms, and also deliverables and the methods that you're going to use to communicate. The more specific you can be with your teaming agreement, the better off you'll be and the less confusion you'll have downstream. As you enter into teaming agreements, do pick the appropriate type of teaming instrument, customize it, and be very clear and specific about everyone's roles. Don't reuse a teaming agreement or drag on negotiations. You know when someone's trying to game you. Let's talk about teaming activities related to capture now. The next step is define business relations and communications processes. Ensure that you have a shared vision of how you're going to conduct business relationships. Define an open communications path for informal, formal, and emergency communications. Clarify any objectives, schedules, and responsibilities. And if there are any problems, know how to escalate and resolve them quickly. One of the most egregious tasks is responding to data calls. So I try to simplify that process by making data calls that pop, as you can see in red on the slide. They're persuasive, meet customer objectives, and supply verifiable proof points. Let me give you a quick example. If I just asked you for a resume of a manager that met the specific requirements of the RFP, I'd get one. However, that might not be very high scoring. So let me ask you some specific questions. Has that project manager, first of all, worked with the customer, done outstanding work? If so, what did they do and how did it benefit the customer? And number 3, can you give me any proof points where they've done it for similar customers on their resume? If I have that information, I can exceed the customer's requirements and my proposal will score higher. Now we enter into the proposal solution development stage. Before the RFP drops, we want to make sure that we're sharing all relevant RFP artifacts. Everyone knows everything. Everyone has a unified vision of our solution so far. We provide a compliance matrix. We also provide a strengths-based winning matrix and scorecards. That is exactly what the customer is going to use to evaluate us so we can kind of score ourselves and keep track of how well we're doing. We also want to set realistic timeframes for developing the solution. We don't want to shortchange ourselves. Strong teams invest in marketing to the customer. They meet with the customer in person or online, provide demonstrations, and if that's not feasible, maybe a white paper that can illustrate how we're providing several advantages to the customers that meet and exceed their requirements. And we respond to sources sought and requests for information. During the capture phase, it's really important to mitigate any challenges. You may find that there is an unwillingness to negotiate or sign agreements, delays in sharing information, poor quality information. Try to nip these challenges in the bud because you don't want it to escalate to the proposal phase where it's make or break. Now let's move on to teaming activities related to proposals. When that RFP or solicitation drops, you want to be prepared. So ask the partner for any information you need to develop the kickoff package. And once you have developed the kickoff package and scheduled that meeting, make sure that all of your teaming partners, participants are available and able to come so they can get all the information they need to successfully do their jobs. You might have to set the reset button on communications. And you might have to once again go back and identify key contributors and their alternates or backups. Establish a series of weekly meetings, daily meetings, whatever you need, as well as informal communications paths and emergency paths. Also, try to make sure you integrate all your teaming partners into your meetings so they feel a part of one unified team. If your solicitation arrives and there are quite a few changes, it's crunch time. You and your teaming partner have to finalize the solution. So to make this efficient, make sure they have all the information they need, the schedule, so they can arrange their time accordingly, integrate them into the team, and give them a place in your content management system where they can store their findings. If you have not signed teaming agreements after the RFP is released, here's 3 steps you can follow. Step number 1, get teaming agreements signed as early as possible. 2, quickly negotiate any new terms to address requirements immediately after it's released. And number 3, don't allow negotiations to drag on. I would usually stop them prior to the proposal strategy review. Help your teaming partners optimize their proposal inputs. Set up a secure space in advance where they can provide their content. Provide them with a compliance matrix, outlines, and writing conventions. Give them a draft executive summary so they have a unified vision of the solution. And don't wait to review their work. Review it daily and make comments if you have any errors or issues to resolve. If well done, oral presentations can make an incredible impact on the customer, but they require time and attention. So ensure your teaming partner is giving you the right people to present in their capacity. Also, too, that their schedules have been cleared, and because it may take 5 or 6 times to practice a presentation, and maybe even more. Ensure you have that commitment and that everybody is focused on developing an outstanding presentation. As the APM BOK indicates, one of the best ways to improve a proposal is through proposal reviews. Teaming partners can be an integral part of that review. But make sure they're set up for success. Give them access. Make sure they understand how to review the proposal using your rules and your score sheet. Also, provide them with enough time. As the APM BOK says, the average person can review about 40 pages per week. So if you give them enough time, instructions, and scorecards will do a great job for you. Pricing can be a bottleneck. So before the RFP even is released, negotiate work share and preliminary pricing rates. Share business identification information. After the RFP is released, close any gaps in the pricing and the work share. Obtain business volume information and allow enough time to respond to a pricing data call. While you await the award, there's 4 things you can do. 1, do a lessons learned review. 2, keep that teaming partner informed of any post-RFP amendments or revisions. 3, keep them informed of the proposal outcome quickly. And number 4, share the customer debrief results. Now let's talk about continuous improvement and addressing challenges. There are reasons to drop a teaming partner, such as those I have listed on the left here. If you do identify any of those reasons, confront your teaming partner, explain why this is serious, and determine the best course of action going forward. Along the bid lifecycle, you may find that you have made a friend or a frenemy. So make sure that you address that misunderstanding immediately and enforce the terms and conditions of your teaming agreement so everyone understands exactly what's expected of them. Here's my 3-part continuous improvement loop here. If we have understanding, we build trust through trustworthy actions, we have open communications, and that cycle continues, we can improve on our relationship and build long-term teaming partner friends. Well, let's talk about some conclusions and takeaways now. I have 5 takeaways for you. Number 1, screen your teaming partners carefully. Negotiate terms and conditions early. Promote clear and open communications. Eliminate unrealistic expectations and schedules, and build trust through your actions. Now, Beth, I'd like to turn it back over to you.
Thanks so much, Brenda. Those are some terrific takeaway thoughts. For everyone who's looking for more information on this topic and our blog articles, training classes, free webinar replays, and 6 books, please visit our website listed on this slide. Connect with us on LinkedIn and visit our LinkedIn page for daily discussions and insights. If you have questions or would like to continue talking about teaming with us, here's our contact information. Thank you.